Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. My name is Marilyn Shannon, and I welcome you today to the Breaking Free Show. I hope you're all doing wonderfully wherever you are, and I'd love to know where you are. So, anytime during the show, you're more than welcome to Skype in, to call in, to chat in, whatever you like, and tell me where you are because it's so much fun to know where people are located. Anyway, our show is all about freedom, taking those freedom steps towards something. And we love to introduce you to fun people who are doing some great work, whether they have a tool, a strategy, a philosophy. They've been somewhere, they've done something that we all can look at and go, yes, I want to do that too. Or, I'm not so sure, but it's given you an option. And that's what we love to do. We love to invite people here who will teach us, who will help us explore who we are. And today we're going to do just that, and we're going to do it with color. But before we get started, I want to say hi to Amnon.
Hello, Marilyn. How are you?
I'm good. And you?
I'm just fine, thank you.
How was your weekend?
Weekend was it was dreary kind of outside. It was,
Yeah, I guess it was. I was
but
so
it was
busy I didn't even
fine.
think about it.
It was fine. I mean, accomplished a lot. Cleared the office, getting ready to throw a bunch of computers out,
Oh,
and
good.
yeah.
That's a good. That was an interesting thing because today we're going to be talking about rainbows and color. And with what Amnon just said, like it was dreary outside, but my weekend, I guess I spent a lot of it inside, but I spent it inside doing some very special things.
And you know that there is a rainbow somewhere all the time. There's always a rainbow somewhere.
Is there really?
Always a rainbow
Well,
somewhere.
and there was rainbows where I was
Oh,
because I was doing things that were colorful and bright. And so I didn't even realize what was going on outside. So anyway, today we're going to be talking about color and what we bring and who we are with our color and what we do with our color. And there was a wonderful video traveling around Facebook. I don't know. I saw it there, and it was Maya Angelou speaking about rainbows and how we are a rainbow in somebody else's cloud. And so I just loved the picture, the connotation. And I invited a wonderful woman to our show today. I love this woman. Met her on Blab. It's so interesting, these social media outlets and who you can meet and when you can meet and how you connect. I don't care what anybody says. When your heart is about connection, I don't care whether it's the phone, whatever it is, you can connect. And I connected this with this woman who has impacted my life tremendously. And I love her. And I've met her husband, and he's going to be one of the men in my book. So I've really grown to love them both. And let me welcome Tanya, the truth entrepreneur, to our show today. Welcome.
Hello, hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm amazing. I'm amazing.
You're amazing.
I am.
So you're amazing. Okay, so notice she said she's amazing. She didn't say she's amazed. She didn't say anything like that. She's it. Why are you it? Why are you amazing?
I'm amazing because I am breathing. I get to be here with you, and you're that rainbow in that cloud, right? So I think it's fun. I think it's always it's always inspirational to wake up and do what you love. So, I look at it as there might be ups and downs and things that we're going to go through, but at the same time, I could always say I'm amazing through everything because I know the outcome.
Cool. You always know the outcome's going to be good.
Yeah,
Good.
it's going to be
So,
good.
so before we really get into this conversation, I want to invite all of you anytime to please feel free to call in. You can call in on a landline. That's 919-518-9773. You can join us in our chat. You can put your name, nickname, whatever you like under our video, and you can ask questions. You can engage with some of the other people there. I want to say hello to all of them that are there. You can also come in on Skype, Computers 2K Voice, anytime you like and partake in our conversation. You can even derail the conversation if you want to and take us on an entirely different journey. We're okay with that too, because I know wherever we're going together, and it's perfectly fine with me. So today it's anything goes. And I want to say, you have a license on this show to talk about anything you want. So even though Tanya and I are here, we're going to talk about what it means to be there for someone, what it means to be there for yourself, whatever that looks like. Feel free to just join in and talk to us. So Tanya,
Marilyn.
and also Tanya's going to have a show on here, and we're excited about that, right?
Yes, very, very excited. So it's nice to check it out first here.
Yes, ma'am. So okay, we're gonna talk, and I'm. Let's see. Okay, so Chris is saying Happy Colorful Monday to everyone. So that's great. So to
Chris.
you, what does it mean? What does this notion of being a rainbow mean?
Well, when you look at the beginning aspect of what the first connotation of a rainbow is or was, it meant a promise, a reminder of a covenant, a reminder of a promise with someone. And so for me, that's what I think about when I think about a rainbow. I think about uh, a relationship or a promise, even a promise that I make to myself to be the light or to leave somebody better off than when they first met me. So
Mm-hmm.
I always look at it from that perspective.
Mm-hmm. I often say that to experience freedom, you got to get free from something, and that's how you know you're free. Free from what? So we're going to go into that, but we have a caller. Hello.
Hi, this is Pat.
Hey, Pat. Welcome.
Hi, Pat.
Thank you. Hi.
So, do you know Tanya, Pat? Pat,
Pardon?
do you know Tanya?
Uh, I think so.
Okay, good. Good. So, welcome. I'm glad you called. So,
Pat, Pat,
Yes.
you need to turn off the sound on your computer or whatever, wherever you're watching it online. Just turn the speaker off there and
Okay.
and pay attention to
yeah,
what.
because, yeah,
How are you talking on the phone?
Yes.
Yeah, so just do it
yeah.
on the phone.
Because we're
Now it's okay.
delayed. Yeah,
I'll
that's
take
good.
the speaker
Yeah,
off.
yeah. Welcome.
Okay. I do I get the right one here?
So,
There, it should be off.
how do you know Tanya?
Oh, I don't know. I was thinking that maybe it was some of the meetings I went to. The name sounds familiar.
Good. Well, what made you call in today? And I'm glad you
Oh, I
did.
was just curious what kind of things I could learn.
Okay. And what does a rainbow mean to you?
I used to be a rainbow girl, and when I was young, and so of course I would think of it about the rainbow girls.
And what was a rainbow girl?
Oh, it's a church, and what it was very religious. It came from Noah's Ark with the rainbow, and it was a group of young girls. I was a teenager at the time, and they would have activities for helping out the neighborhoods and such, and just being a good person.
Ah, that's very cool. So you were a rainbow girl.
Yes.
Wow, that's perfect for today's show because you were the I mean you were you brought color into people's lives.
Absolutely.
Wow, that's cool. Tanya, what do you think?
I think that's awesome. I never heard of actually a rainbow girl, but I love the meaning behind it, and even more so that even at a young age you can embrace what it is to serve your community and the people around you.
Right.
This
And it lasts a lifetime.
and what do you mean? What lasts a lifetime?
Giving and sharing.
Mm, it sure does. Right before you were getting ready to call, was pulling up a quote that I had put a bunch of quotes together just in case I wanted to use some. And you hear me?
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay.
and one of the quotes that I brought up was, I had a lot of clouds, but I have had so many rainbows in my clouds. And I think there's we can choose. We have clouds and we have rainbows, and we can choose to focus on the clouds, or we can choose to focus on the rainbows. We can choose to be a cloud, Well, we can choose to be a rainbow, and I choose rainbow.
I do too.
I think we all do.
Well, that would be a nice thought, and I hope after today we all choose to to be as many rainbows as we can when we can, because sometimes those clouds can get the better of you, but it's part of our learning and our experiences to work through the cloud to find the rainbow. You know what I mean? So, is there anything else you wanted to add and share today with us, Pat?
Oh, I can't think of anything. I was
Okay.
just kind of curious what your live chat would be like.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you called. You
This is
can.
my first time, so
Well, good and good. Well, you can. The and we love people to call in.
Absolutely.
So anybody can call in anytime you want and just chat with us, ask questions, make a comment, anything you want, and you can. If you just put your name next to the video, you can do that. So, Pat, did you have any questions at this point?
no.
Okay. Well, if you do, call us back again.
Okay, we'll do.
All right. Thanks so much for being
Bye,
here.
Pat.
Oh, thanks so much. Bye bye.
Bye. You know, I have a big presentation speaking opportunity to do.
Tanya,
Yes.
I think your speakers are too loud, and that may be what causes the just as Marilyn talks to you, just adjust it as low as you can.
Okay.
There
Good.
we go. Perfect. I have a big speaking opportunity that I'm going to be doing in June with a big group. And I don't know, no matter how much you do something, sometimes if there's still some kind of attached sometimes, I mean, I think it happens with everyone, no matter how what an expert you are, no matter how much experience you have. I've heard, Angelina Jolie wants to puke before the beginning of every movie. So, we all have those feelings. But when I heard the Maya Angelou talk about going with your rainbows, I was like, wow, isn't that cool? I'm not going alone. I'm going with my rainbows. I'm going with all the people who have shed light on me before. And it just kind of zapped, just this little combination of words just zapped how I was feeling, in that moment. It just, I mean, I created so much more peace for myself. So it's really important to observe these things and go, okay, how does that affect my life? So I know, Tanya, you're getting ready to do some things, or you are
Yes.
doing some things. Tell us.
Um, Actually, there's multiple things going on. Just launched the 7 Days to Clarity challenge, and that challenge was launched because my book is coming out, Simplify Your Life and Streamline Your Business, and that's coming out in September. So I wanted to do a fun free challenge that can go along with the book as well, and help individuals, get clarity and become productive and see results. So that's something that I'm heavily focused on with in that perspective.
Okay. And so when you talk about clarity,
Uh-huh.
can you give us a little more detail of what you mean by clarity?
Sure. Whenever we, as an entrepreneur, we start and we start this journey, or even further on, we are shifting in our entrepreneur journey. We are getting bombarded every day with something, right? So we have social media and other books and programs and courses and all types of stuff, relationships that we're can be a part of, and the new things, the shiny objects that are always coming at us. And one thing I've noticed through my journey for 15 years has been that individuals have the hardest time identifying what is for them at that point in time, right? So, what is the best thing for them to do at that point in their life and business? And a lot of times we tend to bring on way more than we need to, because we still enter entrepreneurship with a consumer mentality. And with that mentality, we're constantly trying to consume everything in our path to say, okay, this is my next big break. This, after this program, I'm going to make this amount of money. Or after this book, this is going to really set me off because this is the information I need. And
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, because we're in that consumer mindset, we really don't know exactly what to consume at the right time and how much of it, and really how to then, once we're figuring out what our day is like, or what our vision is going to be like for that year or month, we don't chunk it down into bite-sized actionable steps, and so we end up failing or prolonging that success.
Mm-hmm.
So it became a passion of mine to help entrepreneurs bring clarity to their life and their business, and live that minimalist lifestyle to where they're focused on just the actions that are going to help them produce.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it is overwhelming,
It
and
is.
so many things look juicy. Sometimes I think to myself, God, I'm so busy. I have all these things to do, but those things that I have to do are my choice. I start something, and then because I start it, there's something else that I want to do to support it, to add to it, to then, oh, I change it. And all of those things are by design. I have
Right.
added them. So, as an entrepreneur, as a businesswoman, as a mother, a wife, I want to take a look at some of these things and go, okay, I have to say no to this and just stick with this. I can't add more, or if I want to add it, I got to wait until the time is right to add it. Right?
Right.
Is it so? The interesting thing is when we talk about who's a rainbow, it's who can you learn from? Who will bring some color, some light into your life? Who are you willing to listen to?
Right.
And finding those people, because and learning is not in lieu of what you already know, or saying I'm learning because I don't know what's wrong with me. There's a curiosity about. I mean, are you curious how about rainbows, about things that people know, and just everybody's here to help each other. So there's a curiosity of how far we can go and what we can take with us. Tanya, what do you think?
Absolutely. I think, uh, honestly, that learning can have a negative connotation to it, because learning in many individuals' mindsets is a lack, something that they're lacking, something like you said that they don't know, and it's not always a bad thing, right? It's not that. It's exciting to learn. It's exciting to be intrigued, and to have that curiosity. Just because I've learned, let's just say, I've learned how to build websites. There doesn't mean that I can't learn how to scale something up, how to become a better website builder. If you can always learn how to be better in some way, shape, or form. As a wife, I'm always striving to learn how to do something different or change something that can, add to who I am as a person, as well as in my marriage.
Mhm.
So
That's
I look at it as a
perfect.
positive thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And there's no failure here. I mean, there's only, lessons learned and ways of going forward. I'm not, did you want to say
Yeah,
something?
Tanya.
Yes.
While Marilyn is going to talk now, I want you to restart your Skype. I want you to hang up and actually quit Skype and start it again and call back in, because the audio is getting worse and worse. So,
Sure.
go ahead.
All right. So here's a quote that Chris on our chat has asked, and I think it's a very interesting one, and it's perfect for where we are right now. And she says, I'd like to know what Marilyn thinks of this quote. I kind of view everybody like a rainbow. Everybody on the planet has all the colors of the rainbow inside. Alexia Fast. So, what do you think? Sit back for a moment. What do you think? Before I tell you what I think, I'm not sure I'm right or wrong. And it's not about that anyway. So, what do you think it means? What does it mean that everybody has all the rainbows inside of them? Think about it. Okay. Time up. So to me, everybody on the planet has has everything inside of them. We have all that juiciness inside of us, and we get to share it. That's where it's coming from. So they're not just out here. but they're inside of all of us. And sometimes we can use a little help from other people to bring the colors out, but all the colors are inside. Tanya, you back?
I am.
Okay. What you think on that? Okay. All right. So here was the quote. I kind of view everybody like a rainbow. Everybody on the planet has all the colors of the rainbow inside.
Mm.
What do you think? What do you think that's about?
Oh, I love it. We are equipped with everything inside. We might need some understanding and some tweaking, and that's where you can be somebody else's rainbow. But I absolutely agree with that. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I think we don't give ourselves enough credit. We're already wired how we're supposed to be, and what we're gonna, how we're gonna function, our personality. And so everything for the dreams that are inside of us are not to tease us, but to show us what is actually possible for us to accomplish.
One of my favorite um, songs of all time is "Somewhere Over the Rainbow." I just love that song.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it means that if birds can fly, so can I, right? I mean, I can do anything that any other being or whatever can do, and I can do it high and wide,
Yes.
right? Somewhere over the rainbow, and you'll find me because that's where I belong, and we belong there.
Absolutely.
You know, I I've heard that song from numerous. There's Ava Cassidy. Do you know who she is?
No, I actually
Oh
don't.
my God, she sings it. She is deceased, but
Okay.
she's fabulous. She was a young woman, and she could sing just with the most magnificent voice and the most magnificent meaning behind what she would sing. And she sang a rendition of "Somewhere Over the Rainbow" that just it's inspiring to me whenever I go to do something. I listen to that song. It gives me permission. It gives me I feel powerful when I read it, and I know it's just a song, but I feel powerful when I and I feel powerful in a way that's heart power, not ego power, but heart power. What's the difference, Tanya? Because you laughed. I want to know what you think.
No, I think it's funny because that you put the difference, right? The difference would be intention. The intention behind that power that you have. When you have
Mm.
that heart power, it is that rainbow power, right? That I feel like a superhero. Like we're supposed to do like a little superhero show, cartoon or something called Rainbow Power or something. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like your heart, your intention is to help others, is to help them succeed and to uh, bring them to another level.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have the ego power, it's okay. What if you're looking for somebody to help somebody? It's usually because it's going to do something for you, and you're more focused on what it could bring you and to feed yourself, your ego. And so
Mm-hmm.
it's a very different intention behind it.
That isn't so that's very interesting. So what does it feel like? So it's not always a rainbow that we're bringing in. If it's from the heart, then it's rainbow, and if it's not, what is it? Or does I don't even know if it matters if we even try to figure it out, but the important thing is being a rainbow in somebody else's life is going to feel different, and you're going to know when you're the rainbow and when you're not,
Right.
right?
Absolutely.
Here's one that I love. A quote that I found. It says, "I want to throw Skittles at people and yell, 'Taste the rainbow.'"
I like that.
Taste the rainbow.
I really like
I
that
mean,
quote.
yeah, really. Like, why? Why taste the rainbow?
Oh my goodness. I think there's so many people that like what you said, they have the colors, they have the rainbow inside of them, but they're not exposed to that, or they don't actually live it out, walk it out. And they're not very positive in other individuals' lives. I know I always hear this and I just remember it, and it's that when you're around many different people, uh, it can be something as an introvert. It's something that takes a lot from me if I'm around a
Mm,
lot of people. It's like I feel their energy, like I can take from that, and it can be hard. But what always gets me is the fact and the encouragement that uh, I can be somebody positive in their life, and that I have a purpose of being around those people. And no
mm-hmm.
matter what I'm going through, I go through it for a purpose. Now, sometimes it's just life. And then sometimes, I put myself in a bad situation just out of ignorance or however, stubbornness. And, but if you're constantly looking at things as a positive way, like if you're in a bad situation, what can I learn from this? Then you're going to exude that when you're speaking to people and anywhere you go, because you're not focused so much on what you're going through, but you're focusing and saying, what can I learn from this? And naturally, when you ask yourself a question, your brain is wired to answer those questions. And it's how our brain goes. You ask a question and it starts giving you these answers inside your head. So if you can just do that when you're around multiple people, you're going to be more positive naturally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And here, it's interesting because I was thinking of how the rainbow is used as a connotation about gay and lesbian,
Mhm.
right? And so Chris put on the chat, she was said, I'm thinking about the rainbow flag, the symbol of pride for gay and lesbian community. Here's a bit of interesting history from an interview with Gilbert Baker, the creator of the flag. We needed something beautiful, something from us. The rainbow is so perfect because it really fits our diversity in terms of race, gender, ages, and all of those things. Plus, it's a natural flag. It's from the sky. How about that? It's a natural flag. I've never thought about that. It's a natural. I always thought rainbows were created from like, who told me rainbows were created from oil? Where did that come from? Did you ever hear that before? That when you see a rainbow on the ground, it was from oil? Did you ever hear that?
No, like the way you mean, like the way that the light reflects on the
Maybe,
oil?
maybe that's what it was. That's so
No.
interesting. And even though the rainbow has been used in other ways in vex sorry, vexillography, this use has now far adopted any other use that it had. That is very so. I have never heard of it being it's a flag, a natural flag. And so when you see a rainbow, what do you stop and think or stop and do? Does it when you see a rainbow in the sky,
Mhm.
what do you do in that moment? Have you ever thought about it?
For me, I always stop and I acknowledge it, because
Ah,
I look at the original meaning, whatever meaning that any people have put to it is irrelevant to me. I always love to look at the first mention of a word. The first mention is the original creation of that word, and it's very, very powerful to look at the first the reason why it was created and the purpose behind it. And so what I tend to do is always look at the first mention. And
which
like
is
I said,
what? And what is
the
that?
first the first mention of even a rainbow is the covenant that God put with his people, that he would not flood, kill or destroy anything by flood anymore. And so what I look at is the covenant that I have, the covenant, the reminder that what I have with my creator. And so for me, I stop when I see a rainbow and I acknowledge that covenant. It's almost like it's like that reminder saying, "Hey, I'm here and I'm thinking of you," and that type of thing. So for me, it's a form of communication as well. And that's how I've always just looked at it. Just because, whenever you see that, whenever you hear about that biblically, that is something that is a special moment. And so that's kind of how I just acknowledge it. They're beautiful too. I mean, it's always so exciting to see a rainbow. Like kids get excited, everybody does. It's so fun to see a rainbow.
I love what you just said, and I love because it is a um, such an important covenant. Even when you see somebody else, we can look at everybody as being a rainbow, right?
Yeah.
Everybody walking this earth is a rainbow. But the fact that it's kind of it is a message it's a message, it's a flag in the sky to say, take notice, look around, there's something else going on here. Where else is it, and to take a look and putting a smile on your face because
Right.
they are so joyful, right? They're all different. Have you ever seen a rainbow that was the same as the rainbow before?
Right. Exactly.
Never. The uniqueness, the diversity, as this gentleman was, as Gilbert Baker is saying in his message, they're always different,
Exactly.
right? Some are longer, some are bigger, some the colors are always different. What I will never now I will never I don't know if I'll ever look at people the same. Now, okay, so you have what color is your hair,
Blue.
Tanya? Blue. And so what's the purpose of wearing hair, blue in your hair?
For me, I have always been very introverted. I have been raised with this mindset that I had multiple strikes against me because I'm Hispanic, I'm a female, and so on and so forth, and I'm young, and the list goes on. And so being raised that way, it really limited a lot of times my view on what I was capable of doing. And as I was going through my business, I came to that moment where I said, I know exactly where I'm going in my business and where I'm called to really uh, have that message flourish. And then I thought, I want to just break out, and I just want to, blue is my favorite color. It's always, brings me a lot of joy. It's very peaceful. It's a trust. It's a color. The meaning behind it is a trust color. And so I said, you know what? I'm just going to go for it. I'm just going to be me, my introverted self, and just kind of get out there and do my thing. And so it's that staple for myself. It's a branding as well, but it's a staple for myself to say that it's okay to stand up and be who I am and run my business with all the passion that's in me and not worry about corporate America ever again or anything or the stigmatism of what people put on you that if you're a business owner, you have to be in a suit and tie and you have to do this and you have to do that. And it kind of helps me break that.
So let me ask you something. Through your travels with blue hair, how have you noticed people respond to you?
Oh, very interesting responses. Very, very. They've some of them have been very negative. Some will look at me as like maybe I'm like this uh like punk rocker that's, going to be really violent or just, these we know like these things that they put on you, these names that they put on certain people. Uh, and so they think of me in a negative way. Some people are like, I love your hair. It's amazing. Sometimes you'll see like women kind of like, grab their children and kind of just be like, huh, okay. I actually, it's so funny. I'm doing the clarity challenge and I had an ad out there. And so I had done a video and somebody went back and said, you couldn't teach anybody a ham sandwich because you have blue hair. You can even teach a ham sandwich. Um, if you have blue hair, I'm going to question what you can even teach people. And he called me an Oompa Loompa.
A what?
An Oompa Loompa,
Oompa
like
Loompa.
the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah, I've never heard, but
Those little people.
And
oh,
it was
oh.
so funny. And I was laughing and I'm like, wow. So, you get so many different ranges. It could be positive, negative, people turn, but I'm okay with it.
Mm-hmm. Well, tell me. Okay, so we heard that part. Now, tell me the positive part.
The positive part is I do attract people that that accept me for me, right? That accept me. However, I do. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's grown on me more and more. I started with one little streak in my hair, and then all of a sudden, it was just like my hand. So it's just a reminder of my freedom as an entrepreneur. It's a reminder of me stepping out and being me in every sense of the way. And I love it. It's powerful. It's a reminder that I do love what I do, and that I'm fun and I can be outgoing at times. And so it has a lot to do with some of the aspects of my personality. Sometimes I like confusing people too, because it's just funny. I'm an introvert. I'm just, I'm kind of like pretty calm. But then when I speak, people think differently. So I
So
think it's fun.
it's very interesting because you said you were an introvert and you chose to use purple hair as a way of kind of going a little bit more, speaking up more. So speaking up more does not necessarily mean it has to come from your mouth or you have to work a room and all those things. You can speak up in other ways that are more comfortable and that you accept. Forget about anybody else because we can't, we don't know who's going to accept what when, but it is a way for you, as you say, to show your extroversion.
It really is, because when people come to my site, a lot of times they'll work with me because they see that I'm not going to do business in the traditional sense. And they feel like they can actually be themselves. Even if they don't want blue hair, they can say, oh, I can dress in ripped jeans and barefoot, or I could just relax. I can wear a nice shirt if I want to, but I don't have to. They can develop their own brand and their own identity and style. And
Hmm.
so I've gotten, interviews and podcasts and things just because of the way that I've branded myself
Hmm.
and the way that I'm open with that.
Hmm. Yeah, I think it's really interesting to talk about, you know, being the color, living the color,
Right.
experiencing the color, experiencing somebody else as your rainbow, and then how you wear rainbow, how you wear color. I wear a lot of black, but I love bright lipstick. You know, I love bright lipstick and I love wearing, necklaces and things like that, especially on here because you only see me from, chest up. You don't see anything else. So I love, good, something, but I love bright lipstick always. I feel like it wakes me up. And I
And
feel,
that's your splash of color.
yeah, and I love smiling with lipstick. I think it puts an emphasis on my smile, and I feel comfortable with that because I like to smile, and I think my smile is more noticeable
Right.
with lipstick. So I would love to hear um, from all of you out there, and you can give us a call. You can share it in the chat. How you live your color? How do you share the color of who you are? Of your life. How would you go about it? So you're more than welcome to call us at 919-518-9773, or you can Skype in with us to computers, that's plural, the number 2K voice. And you can also partake in our chat and share with us you know, what color means to you, what your favorite color is. I know people who love wearing turquoise. Well, why? You know, you love blue. I can understand you putting blue would be the color in your hair.
Yeah.
So, why do you choose certain color? What does it mean to you to live your life from that place? And how will you go about seeing the color? I mean, when you see other people wearing color, if you saw somebody walking around, a kid walking around with red in their hair or spiked in their hair, what are you going to think? Where are you gonna? What will you do? What will you do with that color? Like when you see young kids walking around with color in their hair, Tanya, what do you think?
Honestly, nothing. What's so funny? I
What?
used to think a lot of weird things like, oh,
Yeah.
you know, um, they're wanting attention, or oh, they're just rebellious, or oh, they're. I did think a lot of those things. And then, you know, when I changed and I decided to do something different, I realized that we tend to judge so much people on the outside and we don't know why they're doing what they're doing. And you know, it could be like I said, that freedom statement.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've said this before in other interviews, and you know, a little over 15 years ago, my husband, my first husband, we were high school sweethearts, and he was murdered in a hit and run motorcycle accident. And when that happened, I realized that my life, I was here for a purpose. I was wired for a destiny to fulfill, and I was living so much behind this who I thought I should be. And it's so funny because I had this perception when I was a little girl that you had to have a man with a suit, and he had to have a good corporate job, and he had to have the nice car and the white picket fence, and it had to be a house, couldn't be a townhouse. And I thought that was my perception of what happiness was, and it was so far from the truth. So when you're young, you tend to have this perception of what happiness is. And so when I see kids now, like, this is my staple hair, but it also allows me to remind me of what my past was, and that I need to continue living my life to the fullest because it's different and people are going to judge, and it's going to happen, but it makes me stronger. And I think about the kids who do it, and I think about why they're doing it. Right, there's always a purpose. Sometimes it's just they just love it, and I rejoice the fact that they're willing to step out no matter what and be who they want to be. And if they like their hair purple, then they do purple, because there's so much judgment that comes with looking different. And I love it when I see a kid now stepping out into their own, because if you judged me just by my hair, you would lose so much value in your life. And if I judged you by your red lipstick, I would have lost so much value in my life. And so I look at it totally differently now. I realize that I was judgmental because I wanted to do it myself.
Yeah, I really, when my children were younger, and like my daughter's 34, my other daughter's 31, there was a coffee shop here in Raleigh. It's still here, called Cup of Joe's. And back in the day, when they were like 10, 9, whatever, we would go there on a Saturday night. It was our Saturday night entertainment. I was a single mom, and we would go and sit in the coffee shop. And it was right near the university. In those days, there was no Starbucks around. There was no other coffee shops. It was it. And the kids would come in with like hair, like high hair, all colors, and all colored lipstick and makeup and clothing and all kinds of stuff. And we would sit there, and it was a show for us, and we used to love it. And I miss those days somewhat when I go to Cup of Joe's now, and those kids are not there anymore, and the color isn't there. And it's interesting because I really appreciated what you said. You know, we do place a lot of judgment on things as opposed to look at not making up something negative about it, but just looking at it for what it is and enjoying, just like you would see, just like animals, all the different birds and the sounds of animals that we are privy to hear. uh, Pay attention to it and enjoy it. I mean, enjoy the fact that there are birds with different colors flying around us, right? And
Yes.
there's different sounds that you can hear at night when things are quieter, or and we lose sight of these things. We lose track of them, and how wonderful it is when we can be reminded, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
So Tanya, I know you had a really incredible story with your husband,
Mhm.
and you don't have to go into the whole thing, but I certainly didn't want to go without acknowledging it, because that was a tough thing for someone tragic to go through, and on such an amazing time of your life. So I want to acknowledge you for the work you've done, because it was pretty tough.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It was really tough. I think the biggest part that got me was that right before, literally about 2 or 3 days before he passed. He said, you know what? I want to live out my dreams. I no longer want to work in corporate America. I know that I am meant to do greater things, and I want to have a motorcycle shop. I want to build motorcycles. I want to, like, he just had a passion. And right before he could actually even pursue it, he was, killed in a hit and run motorcycle accident. And so it's one of those things that I think that's why I have that passion, and I started off as a photographer. I didn't even start off as a coach. So I let it evolve and let, pursue the rainbows, right? Pursue the
Mm-hmm.
opportunities, pursue the relationships and the people that I was attached to. And with that pursuit, it allowed me to come to where I am now, and where I teach people that clarity moment and how to break free and those type of things. And so it's interesting how, while that was a very painful moment, I didn't grab a hold of it so much that it hindered me from pursuing the rainbows, like what we talked about, and pursuing opportunities and relationships, and letting those things happen. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. And while you were sitting there, I was thinking, God, we've been all over the place talking about color. I mean, can you imagine talking about color for an hour?
I know.
I mean, it's great, and just I would just say to everybody out there, this conversation with Tanya and I is very natural. Sometimes we have guests on our show that we have a specific goal in mind. They've written a specific book already, a subject, something, a philosophy. And it's nice just to I mean, we did about color, but it's also nice to sit back and enjoy the connections between us, between all of us. It's really a pleasure just to have a natural conversation as she and I are on these airwaves and sit back and really like share who we are.
Yep,
And
those scripts.
right, yeah, and we all can do that wherever you go. I like wearing something that people are going to notice because I want it as an invite to speak to me. I want somebody. I love wearing things that are cool, but I also like wearing them because I want somebody to say, "Well, that's a really cool necklace," and I like to say, "Well, thank you very much. I appreciate." It's a way because I think it's really important that we all connect and that we get to know each other. I mean, Tanya and I, when I first met Tanya, I was floored by the brilliance of the things that she was sharing. And she told me the story of her husband. And is it okay if say the other little piece?
Oh my gosh, say whatever you want.
Okay. So he was hit. She had just told him that they were going to have their first child. And on that day, he went on a motorcycle and got killed. So here's somebody who was able to, um, what? I don't even know. I can't even say. I was going to say rise above it, but I heard myself say it. I saw the word and I didn't like it. So I didn't want to say it in the way, I didn't want to say it to define what she did. So I don't know. What do you call it? You didn't rise above it. What did you do?
I found the color in the situation.
You found the color? How do you do that?
We talked about color being positive, and color can be healing. Color can be restoration. Color can be energy and joy and passion.
That's right.
And that's exactly what I did. I focused more so on the color, more so on not the black and white that he's gone. This is what it is. That wasn't, it wasn't that. It was, I did heal. I did go through the process, but I found those colorful moments, and I allowed that healing to come from many different people and opportunities. It could be I was literally getting something like tea at Starbucks, and somebody happened to say something, and I heard it in a mini conversation, and they didn't know that I needed it, and it transformed my whole life. And it was the healing that I needed for that day.
So,
And
yeah, listen to this quote that I was going to read.
okay.
Before we even, it's been sitting here on my phone waiting for me to read it before we even got off on this subject. So this okay, when it rains, look for rainbows. When it's dark, look for stars.
Oh,
I mean, go
that's
figure.
Silver lining.
Go figure.
Silver lining.
Yeah, really. I'm not said silver lining.
it. It is. It's really awesome. And you had mentioned a little bit further back something that just you have conversation starters with what you wear, and that quote just reminds me even more that I think we tend to do this by habit and say, "Hey, Marilyn, how you doing?" And then it's like, "Oh yeah, I'm good. Oh, okay, good." And then you go off. And so many people just say, "Hi, how you doing?" just because it's the thing to say. It's kind of respectful. You see somebody, but it's kind of like, how many times do you really stop at the cash with the cashier at the store, or it's somebody in line, and when they say how when you ask them how are they doing, are you really waiting for a response back? Are you really waiting for that engagement, that chance to interact with them and be that rainbow in their life? A lot of times we have to realize that to be a rainbow is intentional. It's
Uh-huh.
absolutely intentional. You have to wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to do this today. I commit to be a rainbow in somebody's life. So that's a good challenge even for this week.
Hmm.
One, just impact one person, say one nice thing, wait for somebody for their response. I've had people say, oh, how are you doing? And before I even respond, they're out the door. And I'm thinking, you don't even care how I'm doing. You're just saying it to say it. And I think about that even in that quote. How many times do we say things just to say it? But how many times could you be that star in somebody's life, like that path? It's happened to me. And how many times could you be that rainbow?
Hmm.
It's happened to be multiple times where somebody has said something, and because they took the time to actually care, it's exactly what I needed. And
Hmm.
it was that one step further in my healing.
Yeah, and you're so right. It's intentional. It's like saying I don't want to go down with the ship, and it's you know what? It's okay. Why should you go down with the ship?
Right.
I mean, it's all right to rise above it, as Einstein said, to a new level, right? And do
Right.
something different. And noticing these things with people and helping people notice them with you, engage in conversations, take all those rainbows with you, as Maya Angelou says, and take it to the to your scariest places. Take it
Yeah.
on the stage. Take it wherever you go. Take it to break free and take all those rainbows, all those stars with you wherever you go. And all the people will go with you. And it will make it so much easier to go and do what you may be holding back from doing, right?
Right.
So,
Exactly.
so, Tanya, tell everybody again what you got going on.
um, so you can find me at tanyapatxot.com. That has all of my social media and everything in there. I do have a free challenge going on, 7 days to finding clarity. And you can get that at 7 days with the number 7days to clarity.com /opt in, OPTIN. And I also have my book, which is Simplify Your Life and Streamline Your Business. You can find that at, again, 7days to clarity.com /the book. And
Mhm.
so that's what I have going on for this year. I'm focused only on that.
Well, that sounds like a good amount of focus. How much?
Yes,
I mean, seriously though, how much do we need?
exactly. Exactly. And that's what I try to get people to understand. I follow like maybe 3 people in my email list. It is so funny. I did this interview with this 14-year-old girl yesterday, and she was so phenomenal. It actually was on Saturday, and she said, you know what, I'm very careful who I actually opt into and what I do, because I realized that whoever's in my email box influences my mind. And I was like, whoa, it was exactly the truth, and it's exactly what I teach. And so, it's everything builds upon each other. So you don't
Mm-hmm.
need to do too much. You just need to have your 2 focuses for the year.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, everything is connected, and really and truly, when you look at it, we try too hard to do sometimes too many things. I just started a new Facebook page group. It's a private community on Facebook, and I would love everybody out there to join it. It's called Innovators, and it's through Women's Power Networking, which is an organization I'm involved with. But anybody can join, and it's going to be for sharing our ideas, sharing what we're doing. And so please go there, and when you do, I will certainly let you in. I'd love to have as many people in there as possible because I really feel like the more we can engage with each other in many ways, we have to meet each other in different places. That's one place. Twitter is some other place. This show is another place. The grocery store is another place. Church, synagogue, parties, they're all different places to engage. And the more we engage with each other, the sweeter the world is. So, this new Facebook page is one way that I would love to draw out all the ways that we are innovative and all the ways that we can be. So, look forward to innovators. And if I can be of any assistance to anyone out there, please connect with me at Marilyn at MarilynShannon.com. As I mentioned earlier, I am writing a book about men. And so if you are a man and you would be, everybody has a story. I mean, oh my goodness, everybody has a story, and multiple stories at that. But if you have a story that you are interested in sharing for other men to listen to, for to free other men up and to recognize the fact that men are on a journey, awakening, and are juicy too, please take part in this book. Let me know. And so just write to Marilyn at MarilynShannon.com if you're a man, if you know a man, if you have a son, a brother, an uncle, a cousin, whoever it is. And if you are one, we'd love to hear from you because, as I said, everybody has a story. And I'm amazed as I've listened to lots of men tell their stories, I'm amazed at how men have uh, maneuvered through them and the stories that are being told. So please feel free to share them with us. So, Tanya, in the last few minutes that we have remaining together,
Yes.
what other pearls of wisdom have you got to share with our audience?
Uh, I would say make sure that you learn to listen. I know Marilyn likes that.
I love it.
Yeah, learn to listen. I know that as a business owner, a lot of times or most of the time, we want to give people an answer. We always want to solve a problem because that's what business is about. We solve a problem. And sometimes it's really just nice to just listen and be there and be supportive. And a lot of times people will come to their own conclusion of the answer because it's in them already. So, you know, instead of giving somebody an answer while you're being their rainbow and you're supporting them and you're being that encouragement, try to ask them more questions that would help them actually speak out the answer as opposed to telling them the answer. And that'll help you listen, it'll train you more to be able to honor people because honor is very huge for me. And it'll help you realize the valuable gems that everybody has already within them. And it's just a matter that to be a rainbow, sometimes you're just activating those things within them and making them realize what's already, within them. So if I could say anything, I would just say that
That's
to listen.
perfect. Perfect. And just to expand a bit on what Tanya was saying about listening, listen, listen with knowing that there is a rainbow in everyone, and listen to uncover it. Listen to appreciate it, listen to see it, listen to feel it, listen to experience it, and listen for your rainbow, to bring it up, to bring it out, to share it, to make it as colorful and as bright as it already is. Allow it to be. And listening will do that for you. Listening will let you know that it's in there, and will let you know and will let you feel the colors that your rainbow is including. So, with that, I want to thank Tanya for being here today.
Yes, thank you for having me. It was awesome.
It was fun. And I want to
And
thank all
hopefully
of, go ahead, go ahead.
hopefully everybody will take that challenge and set an intention this week to be somebody's rainbow every day.
Yeah. and we'd love to hear about it too. So, write to Tanya, give them your email.
It's Tanya,
Yep.
Tanya, at thetruthpreneur.com.
Perfect. And you are more than welcome to write me and share with me also. You can CC us both. And
Yes.
I am at Marilyn at MarilynShannon.com. So I'd love to hear about your experience with being with rainbows. And I love you truly for being here. And I am honored that you are spending the time with us. So thank you so much, because it really makes a difference. So with that, everyone, go in color and prosper. And we'll see you next week. Bye.
You're tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. Our weekly lineup of call-in programs includes Computers 2K Now with Amnon Nissan, My Life, My Will with Gisela DiCarlo, The Tanya Love Show, Health Then with Debbie Bruck, Breaking Free with Marilyn Shannon, Triangle Be Well with Howard Jacobson, Lunch and Learn with Rabbi Yisrael Cutler, Lessons of Vietnam with NCVVI members, Parent Dome with Ryan Miller, Current Affairs with Amnon Nissan. And if you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section on nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by Atomos.com, makers of quality video recorders and converters, CarolinaApparel.com, and DeltaForce.net.